So Charlotte, they're not messing around, and I would too if if I could find out how to hide things. I'm still trying to figure out how to do like multiple things at once. So there we go. Hide. There we are. Hi, John. Here, you there? And it's official out of Charlotte. Wilf Zaha is there. So breaking news to start, and we'll get into that with Tyler coming up in just a little bit. They announced it 6 minutes ago or so. And so Charlotte confirms Zaha has joined on loan from Galatasaray. According to our buddy Ben Jacobs, it's a one-year deal through January 17th. This is really official. Through January 17 of 2026 with the option to extend it until June 30 of 2026. So Zoran Cornetta saying, quote, Wilfred is a world-class talent. We're confident Wilfred can make an immediate impact in Major League Soccer. So that is your breaker out of the blocks this morning. Wilf Zaha to Charlotte. They couldn't get Miguel Almiron, so they moved on to Wilfred Zaha. Zaha is now there for a one-year deal, literally a 360-day deal, unless this year is a leap year, which I don't think it is. A 360-day deal with the option to extend it through the end of the fiscal year of 2026. So the 2026-27 fiscal year, June 30 of 26. So you get your quote from Zoran Cornetta, and you get Wilf Zaha coming to Charlotte. So that is where we are out of the blocks. Morning, Derek. So, yeah, you can see things are a little different or more like the same. So, opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Tyler's going to join us in about 7 minutes or so, unless he's bored and he just wants to come in early. Morning, Abby. And we're going to be getting into that. So, weather will be a part of opening kickoff, or weather may just be opening kickoff. But like I said, we'll catch up with Tyler and we'll find out what's going on in his mind when it comes to Miguel Almiron and everything else that's on the board. Morning, Alex. Morning, David. So opening kickoff, Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. What you can do is you can buy out the entire store. And we would recommend that you do that if you're a coffee person. Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. You buy out the entire store, but with your tie-in to SDH, you can buy the store and get it at a 15% discount. Buy them out, spend all your money, and then what you can do is you can get a 15% discount. Helps you out. So you still have 15% of your money left in your wallet. Use the code soccer down here, 15 at checkout. You get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10% reinvested youth games, youth initiatives from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Okay, yesterday, as you can tell, the situation is still the same. And it's going to be this way again tomorrow. Here's why. So yesterday, we had an appointment to get everything fixed, to where cable TV is back, and our setup here at Office HD is a little different. And the way that it is, for some reason, and I don't know why, I can't remember the initial reason why, but the head end here is two separate things. So literally, we have two separate ports coming into Office HD, to where the downstairs office is separate and a separate plug-in from the mid-level and the upper level. So the mid-level and the upper level, the mid-level and the upper level have no cable television. The house has no internet. So God bless hotspots. God bless the idea of a hotspot. So that was supposed to have been fixed yesterday. And I went out about 2:30, I think. 2:30, 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. Because that was when the appointment was supposed to happen with our provider, and they were supposed to come by and fix everything. So I leave the house. One of the cars needed gas. We were low on some supplies. So I go out and I go shopping. I kind of cut my losses when it came to getting gas because people started freaking out on the roads and not remembering how to drive on them. So I'm like, okay, it started to snow. It started to snow fairly decently. So pulled off, cut my losses, went and got gas at an incredibly expensive rate, and then had to go shopping for supplies and things. And literally, it was essentials that were kind of on the edge of the essentials list. For me, I had to get Mountain Dew because I was out. And we needed water and salt and things like that for the driveway and all that. So I go out shopping, and I'm coming home about when was I coming home? Like 4 o'clock. Okay, so 4 o'clock, I'm coming home. And people were already starting to lose their senses when it came to driving. So I'm in low gear in the car. I had one of the cars that had one of those options where you have the drive gear, and then you have low gear. And so I go into low gear, and I was driving in the lanes where folks had already driven. So I'm driving on pavement, and I'm driving in low gear. So I wasn't going over like 12 miles an hour. So everything was fine for me. People start going into the middle lanes of traffic, the turn lanes, like if you're on a 5-lane road, 2 going, 2 coming, and then the turn lane in the middle. People are in that middle turn lane where no traffic had been previously, and they were trying to figure out how to get out of that lane. And so, I mean, you had everything from SUVs to pickup trucks gunning it to try to get out of that lane. And me, I'm sitting there, and no, I'm not necessarily paying attention to where the lanes traditionally are. But for me, it was like, okay, people are standing still. They're not moving forward. And so what I'm doing is I'm in low gear. I'm where people have already traveled, and I'm working my way up hills. I'm going up hills, and everything's fine. So I get to my main choice. Okay, what do I do to get into my subdivision? Do I make the right turn? And I've made it up a hill, and there are pickup trucks to my left that are gunning it and spinning and fishtailing in that middle turn lane, thinking that they have made a mistake. So, they're going sideways. They're gunning it. They're not going anywhere. The tires are rotating at 9,000 miles an hour. And I'm just going, tortoise and the hare, the whole thing. I get to the main intersection where I turn to go into my subdivision. I can do one of two things. I can turn and go onto a road less traveled, make a quick left. I'm in the subdivision and try and hope that the roads are decent enough inside the subdivision itself to get to the secondary road to get to the house. I decide to stay on the main thoroughfare because it was well traveled, and it's a lot of pavement, and it's not glazed over, and everything's fine. The cops shut down a bridge for obvious reasons, and then when you see a bus kind of cresting and then trying to brake so it doesn't T-bone the cop car at the bottom of the bridge, you knew that was a wise decision by the police and the public service agency. So everyone that was going southbound in the lanes that I was in could not go over the bridge that they wanted to go over to continue their journey. And so you had 1, 2.5. You had 2 in a turn lane, so 3 lanes worth of traffic acting like Veruca Salt in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. They still wanted to go across the bridge. And so they're honking horns. The cops are sitting there going, no, not happening. And so it turns into a logjam, an absolute logjam. So I'm going to bring Tyler in to continue kickoff here. So Tyler, I was discussing what was going on with traffic yesterday, and I was out in it.
Ooh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well, I mean, I was explaining, so I'm still basically in opening kickoff. And I was explaining that, I had to go get gas for one of the cars. Attaboy. There you go. Busting out the Ted Lasso this morning. I like that.
Gotta believe this week, man.
Yes. On multiple fronts, perhaps. And we'll get into that in a second. So I go out, basic supplies. One of the cars needed gas. It was under the 40-mile warning that you get, where you're supposed to, it's like 40 miles left in this tank of gas. You need to go fill up, and the car starts freaking out and pointing at every gas station that you pass by. So had to get gas, paid entirely too much for gas, had to get some basic supplies like salt for the driveway and things like that. And so I'm out in the snow and I'm driving home. It's like 4:00 in the afternoon. I get to my main intersection, and this is where I was in the story. So everybody's freaking out because they can't go over this bridge that is a connector here in this particular part of town. And I said everybody that wanted to go over the bridge started acting like Veruca Salt and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and they're honking at the cops. It's like, I want it now. They want to go over the bridge going southbound, and the cop literally he's like there. He's blocking everything. And you got folks coming northbound that they're allowing to kind of clean the bridge out so they can shut it down in both directions. And so everybody's freaking out. And the 3 lanes of traffic, the 2 lanes heading southbound plus the turn lane, everybody's trying to figure out their alternate now. And it's like, okay, we're going to block this way. And you got folks that are going from lane 3 to lane 1. And I'm sitting there going, y'all, I'm literally 2 turns from my house. Can you move the backs of your fronts, get it all figured out? Because I'm right here. All I got to do is 2 right turns and I'm good. It got worse. And I know this shocks you. Because by the time I finally get to make my first right turn, I'm in lane 1. Lane 1 is starting to glaze over. And you're ending up with like snow and everything. And everybody in lane 2 is fine. They're creeping down. So I'm in low gear and I'm in the snow and the glaze. So I'm literally looking to my left. And I'm seeing everybody going like this. I look in front of me and I see 2 pickup trucks that literally have rear-ended each other. And they're about 2 car lengths in front of me. And the second truck has completely and totally just stuck. And he's spinning his wheels and the guy's freaking out. And he's rolled down his window and he's gunning it. He's gunning it, trying to get out of all of that ish. And it ain't working. And I'm going, okay. So I'm sliding 4 inches at a time at this guy, and this guy can't quite figure it out. It got to the point to where he finally starts to do the thing, and he's going backward and forward, and he's making his moves and everything, and he finally gets out and he gets into lane 2 and he goes on his way. I'm getting to the point to where I'm steering, and I'm trying to steer to get to the point to where I'm in all of the gunning that he made because there was actual pavement there that he had created. Finally got to that pavement, got into lane number 2 because there was a cop that was like, yeah, okay, go on in. And then I finally make it home. That was the crap I was dealing with yesterday with people who lose their minds when they see the least amount of snow and forget how to drive all day long. What was your survival technique yesterday?
I didn't leave. I didn't go anywhere. I actually had off yesterday because my plan was to go to training.
Yes.
However, look, Marietta from where I'm at is a drive.
Yes.
With traffic.
Yes, that is
Flowery
true.
Branch. I might as well go spend the weekend in Helen if I'm going to Flowery Branch. I'm not. And then with the snow coming in, I was like, there's no way I'm dealing with this. Somebody on Twitter, I think it was Heath, said it was worse for him, worse than 2014. Like left work at 4:00, didn't make it home till like 10.
Oh,
I want no part of that. I want no part of that. So stayed here, made a fire, went outside in the snow for a few minutes. Actually, last night walked up to the top of our neighborhood just to see what the roads look like, and it was Mad Max out there. So we just sat there and watched for a minute. I was like, well, I'm getting the best of both worlds. You get to see all the stuff that I'm not participating in, and we get to enjoy the snow and don't have to be involved in it in any other way. So I applaud you, though, for risking it all to make that drive.
At the point that I started, it wasn't risking it all. I had parsed it out, and I kind of blocked out my timing as good producers do. And I'm like, okay, let's do it now. The guy that is supposed to come and rectify our Wi-Fi situation and our internet situation and 2/3 of our cable situation is supposed to be coming to the house. I figure the boss can sit there and tell him what's going on, and I explain to the boss what's going on. She's still trying to navigate only having a hand and a half at the moment. So she had it all, she had it all squared away. We get a notice while I'm in traffic that the company that is in charge of our home internet and 2/3 of our cable, basically they're on their way. It's great. We get the situation fixed. You get a normal camera angle from me. You don't get to see, all of this action going on down here. And so nothing happens. Literally, I'm driving home and the guy still hasn't shown up. So the boss calls the company and no one's answering. And then she finally gets someone in Massachusetts.
Oh, excellent.
And so they're like, yeah, no, I think they called everybody back, and there's an appointment that got canceled for 8:00 this morning. Ooh, let me try that. No, they've locked me out. I can't even get to that. So tomorrow afternoon, after scheduling something Monday for yesterday, tomorrow afternoon is when the situation here where 2/3 of the homes and the entire Wi-Fi may get rectified. So that's where we are. Yay!
That's crazy. You're having a great week, John.
Oh yeah. Like I said, the kickoff is God bless hotspots. That's where we are right now. That is how we are doing the show.
Sometimes
So
that's what you got to do.
yes, that is accurate. Okay, we led off with breaking news this morning. Wilf Zaha, since they couldn't get Miguel Almiron and told Atlanta, yeah, go ahead, it ain't working. Wilf Zaha, and he is apparently actually already dressed out and doing toe touchies and warm-ups in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So Wilf Zaha to Charlotte this morning. Zoran Kernetta plants a flag, and I'm sure that Mr. Tepper's like, yeah, rawr, and that was how I'm sure that he actually handled the whole thing. So
exactly
Wilf
that way
Zaha,
too.
yes, Wilf Zaha now is officially part of Charlotte, as Jarrett is going to be joining when I can actually hit the button to have him join in appropriately here. So Wilf Zaha to Charlotte. Tyler, starting with you. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a good move for them. I mean, he's highly regarded. I think they, after last year, that this is what they desperately need. It was the same kind of concept with Miggy, right? Like they have this team that likes to kind of sit back, absorb pressure, and then hope they can hit on the counter. But there was nobody that was consistently able to score last year. It's kind of funny how that works. But they're remedying that. I mean, this is a good step in the right direction. So, I mean, with it being like the loan, I think it's a loan, right? You might have just said that.
360-day loan that could be renewed for another 6 months.
No, I mean, I like it for him. I mean, I hope he sucks when they play Atlanta, but I think if I was playing Football Manager and I was in charge of Charlotte after last year, Zaha would be the type of guy. Miggy would be the type of guy that I would want to go after. Just fits, pacey, quick, hits on the counter. I like it.
No doubt. So, Jarrett, we started with the breaker this morning with Charlotte and Wilf Zaha. It is officially official. It has gone across the line. What do you think?
They need to nail their DPs, and this is a step in that direction, I think. You go back and look at a lot of their DPs, and they've missed on them, and that has been the difference for Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because we know how it began with MAR giving the absolutely life-changing, beautiful presser back in the day. We are redacted.
Yes.
But they filled out the rest of that roster pretty nicely after the fact. It's like I felt like they had a plan. Didn't take everything into account when they did the plan in the first place. And then they had to fill out that roster, and they did a good job of that. They made like little moves here and there to make that roster better. And I think they're in a good place. They have a good coach now. They have a plan, but they had been missing on those DPs. Enzo Capetti, Swiderski, you guys, who was the cat from Eastern Europe who the TD was like, he scored for Poland, he can score for MLS. Józwiak.
Yeah, Józwiak, yes.
Józwiak. Like, guys who just were not productive enough. And we see it so often in this league. You can have a good baseline. You have to, and I get MLS is changing. You have to have production out of your DPs. You have to, because that's going to get you over the top. You can go on a 1 or 2 month heater where like you're getting production out of your standard guys, but you have to have that production out of those DPs to get you over the top, to become something better, to clear the line of good to being great. They had not cleared that, but I think this is a good step for them. I think Miguel Almiron would have been a good step for them. And now, Biel's coming back on, I think, a loan with an option to buy, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see if they want to bring him in full-time or if they go get somebody else next year. But I like these moves for them. I hope they work out for them, but I'm with Tyler. I hope they work out for them, just not against Atlanta. Just every other time. Although, what the hell does it matter? Because look, the last two years have been basically Atlanta and Charlotte going into each other's houses and putting their feet on each other's couches. That's just basically all that's happened.
It's the Dave Chappelle Prince routine where he goes on the couch and he's just kind of kicking the boots and the whole bit.
Yes.
Where
yeah, that's all it is.
Charlie Murray! You do one of those bits. So that's what's been happening the last couple of years. Now, and once again, the Palace intrigue in the pardon the pun, unintentional. Now happens with Wilf Zaha, Pep Biel, that strike force that Dean Smith is assembling. We are what would be, Tyler, the closest thing to here we go that's not here we go? What is like the step below here we go when it comes to announcing something that's almost there? Where with Miguel, we're almost there. What is not quite here we go? Here we almost go?
It's about to go down.
There you go.
Period.
Yes.
And with the who was it? Was it Kevin Hart? I think. Somebody might correct me. I think it was Kevin Hart that did that in his little thing. It's about to go down.
Yes.
We'll do that.
And with it being about to go down, it is the return of one of the most beloved folks that is there in the history of Atlanta United. And I think that, and Jarrett has made this point, and I wanted to have your thoughts on it. It's like, y'all, it's great that we're this close to something involving Miguel Almiron. Just know going in that the man is 30. Things are different. He's not the 24-year-old he was when he left the first time. He's 30. Things are different. So I think that, while the idea is fantastic, just know that he's more mature. His game is different. He may not be at 78 RPMs. He might be, 65 RPMs. I don't know if they have that on a turntable anywhere, but he's not quite at 78 RPMs. He can get there at times, but just know that his game is different. He is different. He is older. He has more experience. It's great that we are this close to having Miguel here, but just temper your thoughts a little bit going into this idea.
I'm tempering nothing.
No, that's true.
Nothing.
That is true. You're not. That's right.
No, I know y'all have seen my rants on the show. No, look. Yeah, he might be a step slower, a step. But if you compare him to a race car, all right, maybe the car has been going for a minute, maybe it's a little older, whatever, but it has a much better driver. Better driver. This dude, Atlanta, long game. They were like, hey, we're going to send Miggy to the Premier League for 6 years for training, and then we're going to bring him back for less than we paid for or less than we sold him for in the first place. Like
half, Eddie, half.
Genius. And then he's going to have all that experience. And I see cars lose horsepower over time. Yeah, but then you learn how to drive them better. You learn how to drift in them. You can take turns better. Also, maybe they have, a new set of tires on them. Maybe they have some upgrades. Maybe they have some things that you just couldn't get here. I don't know. I'm hyped up about Miggy coming back, man. I am so excited about this. And I don't care what anybody says. And I said it the other day, don't let the negativity of yesterday rob you of happiness today. Just be excited. I don't care. I'm not looking at any negativity with this signing.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Jarrett, no negativity at all. Just, understand
or cautiousness. I don't care about any of it. No, it's all gold, sunshine, and roses and unicorns.
It's not negativity or positivity for me. I will say what I have said before. What makes this potentially work for me is that if you get the ELL signing across the line, which sounds like it's on the horizon. I mean, you apparently followed Chris Henderson on Instagram, which is apparently we're all back in high school and rearranging our MySpace top fives again, because that's the kind of shit we're doing on a daily basis in the way that we're keeping an eye on who's doing what, break out the burn book while we're at it.
Yes.
However, the fact is that with the offense you're building, I don't need 2018 Miguel Almiron. I don't expect 2018 Miguel Almiron. It was a beautiful point in time. As Ricky said, Chappelle Show was a point in time. And I don't know how to explain. I'm not going to know how to explain to my nephews and eventually my own child what Chappelle Show was like in the moment. Like, you can go back and watch them, but there's not a good way to describe turning on Comedy Central and watching some of those skits for the first time as they were unfolding. Ooh. That was just a point in time that you can't recreate. It was that unhinged. The Nelson Mandela boot camp is one of the best bad ideas I've ever seen executed in my life. But I don't need 2018 Miguel Almiron. It's a great point in your history. I need 2025 Miguel Almiron. He's 31. He's 30 years old. Fine. Be that guy. Be the guy who's a bit more squirrely, who is still incredibly fast, has an incredibly good left foot, is going to pick his spots at times. But I'm going to give you a striker who is allegedly wanted by Premier League clubs, who's young and talented, a opposite side winger who might actually cut out his heart and leave it on the altar for the club if you asked him to, and a 10 who showed flashes and was getting comfortable last year and had moments. And I need you to be 2025 Miguel Almiron. I'm not looking for 2018. If you're looking strictly for 2018 Miguel Almiron, I think you'll be a bit disappointed, because he's going to be a different player, because he's 6 years older and guys change. Look, man, Andrew Jones didn't make the Hall of Fame yesterday. Andrew Jones changed as a player over 6 years. All these guys change because their bodies change, because they get older, because they get smarter. You learn not to empty the tank by the 60th, 70th minute. I'm not worried about him coming in here and imploding and being terrible. I'm just asking him to come in here and be the player he is in 2025, because frankly, that's what I need. I don't need him to put the team on his back. He doesn't have to be Greg Jennings. That's where I'm at with it. I'm not going to be pessimistic about it. I'm just wanting to be him, and I'm wanting to contribute.
Yeah, what Jarrett was referring to,
Ricky, 30-year-old being broken down. Yeah, that's just sports for us, brother. I'm 36, and it's get up, stretch out, stay loose, go play recreational sports, feel good about life at 36 years old, and recognizing that want to be active well into my 50s of playing recreational sports a lot, while also acknowledging that a 36-year-old pro athlete might as well have been Methuselah, the way we talk about athletes. This is the thing, man. Sports age and real life age are two very different things, in the same way that I have people on the street ask me how tall I am, and guess what? Being life tall isn't the same as being like NBA tall. We're like, oh, you're tall. I'm like, I'm the same height as James Harden, who's a 2 guard. Life tall is not NBA tall. Life aging is not the same as sports aging.
No. Especially if your career starts at 16 or 18 and you make it to 36. What Jarrett was referring to is Emmanuel ATLUTD is following Chris Henderson on the IG, the Gram, or the Insta, whatever the kids call it these days. So that's what we're tracking down. We're tracking down folks who follow folks on Instagram. That's
people
where
in
we
our
are.
Discord the other day were trying to, and I will not name them publicly right now. We're trying to find which flight might be leaving Heathrow and landing in Atlanta conveniently before that snowstorm came in.
See, but that's SEC. That's straight up Southeastern Conference college coaches. I mean, look, FlightAware is one of the best things ever. I'm not going to I'm not going to figure out what's going on. But when you're doing this kind of thing, tracking flights, dude, that's just SEC.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Southeastern Conference. That's
Yeah.
nothing new. Why should people be surprised by something like that?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, we live in that world where it's maybe slightly frowned upon to like stalk people to the degree that some people might have.
But is it really stalking if you're just tracking a prospective employee for an organization and a business that you follow on a daily basis? Is that truly stalking?
I mean, I think if you're going to do it for anybody, it's going to be 2018 and 2025 MLS Cup champion Miguel Almiron.
Yes. and not having organizations, and I'll use that word, posting repeat photographs of Miguel Almiron looking for an Uber in an airport. Because literally there were folks yesterday.
Are we going to irresponsibly do this because we don't know when pictures were taken as well? Like that's my question.
Yes.
Because we don't know when pictures are taken. It's like because we did this same song and dance last month when Miguel Almiron was still linked to Charlotte. Some jagoff decided to post a picture of Miguel Almiron standing in an airport with a puffer jacket. Like, Miguel Almiron's about to get on the plane. He's going to go to Charlotte and sign a contract. And I think it was like his agent had said, like, he's going on vacation, man. I think it was international break or something. It was like he's going on vacation
and
with
it
his
was
family.
that photo that got recycled yesterday.
Yes. The amount of it's not just it is we look. We did the same shit yesterday with some jagoff who decided to post his fake ballot for the MLB Hall of Fame, where he was like, my Mets fans aren't gonna like us, and he posted a ballot and it was just Chase Utley and that's it. He's not a certified voter. People can pull pictures from anywhere and just post them because no one has any obligation, especially just dipshits on Twitter have no obligation to actually post anything related to actual information other than just to rile people up, and it accomplishes its goal. So yeah, you got to make sure all your sources are lined up. This is why we talk about check your sources. So you're not just grabbing someone's screenshot of a picture they took 3 or 4 years ago and pretending that that's going to be the real life information that's going on because they want a few clicks because it's going to make them feel happy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Your Latte Loth update from our friends at T's Side Live, by the way, is, and I quote, Middlesbrough continuing to push to strengthen their squad before the end of the transfer window, though some of their business will depend on whether Emmanuel ATLUTD leaves. The striker is the subject of a big bid from MLS side Atlanta United that was hoped would prompt Premier League clubs with interest to join a bidding war. That has not transpired thus far, though Borough are braced for the potential with just 12 days remaining in the window. If such offers don't come in, it remains to be seen whether the striker, who continues to prove his dedication and commitment to Borough on the pitch, will make the switch to MLS, and the decision is likely to impact what incoming business Borough can or cannot do. So that is the abridged version of the Emmanuel ATLUTD sweepstakes with our friends at T's Side Live. Michael Carrick not afraid to continue to have ATLUTD in his starting lineup. because Middlesbrough is in a chase to get into the promotion playoff right now, and they're like number 7, depending on who plays and who hasn't played and these kinds of things. So Tyler, it's 18+2 from what's been reported. And right now, everybody's just kind of waiting in a holding pattern. And the intrepid producers that we have on the Twitch pitch say it was the other way around when it came to Latte Loth and Henderson and the Graham and who follows whom. So that's where we are, following people on Instagram. So that's where we are. But right now, still locked in at the idea of 18+2 pounds, and we're waiting like everybody else on that one.
Yeah, this is why you have the Edward rumor and interest. This is why you have the Piatek interest. Like you can't put all your eggs in one basket, but I mean it's pretty obvious, I think, that he is still Atlanta's number 1 striker transfer target. And I mean, they have time, right? And I'm not mad at Borough for doing what they're trying to do. Like, they have a club right now that's actively trying to do something, which is get promoted, or at least make it to the chance of getting promoted. And I mean, can't be mad at them for trying to start a bidding war. Like, that's business, especially for a club that needs money. So yeah, I mean, this is normal. It doesn't surprise me in any way. It doesn't cause alarm. I think the bid's good enough that
you're not freaking out with 10 days left, or actually 2 weeks left in the window because it's February 3rd. You're not freaking out with 2 weeks.
I'm not freaking out yet. I'll let y'all know when I'm freaking out. I promise you'll know. But no, I think this one, I mean, this seems pretty vanilla, pretty straightforward. If Atlanta's cool with it, they're cool with kind of hanging out for a minute and seeing what happens. I mean, it doesn't seem, I feel like, though, if there were interest from other clubs, we would have heard much about that at this point, and it hasn't. So, short of somebody coming in with like a ridiculous offer to beat Atlanta's, I just don't see that happening. And I think you'll see Latte Lath as an Atlanta player within a couple weeks. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Jarrett, Latte Loth on the table, Piontek on the table, but we haven't progressed with Piontek from that first reference. That was on the board.
Turkish Twitter is like basically the Wild West thrown into a wormhole.
Yes.
Like, we don't Turkish Twitter is just, and it's insane. And look, I think part of this is that the rest of the world doesn't understand, outside of your like S tier sources, and even they might be kind of confused by it, how weird MLS is on the transfer side of things. Because remember, you can't just have a straight up bidding war between like 3 MLS clubs. So is this thing where like so and so's linked to MLS, there's 4 clubs fighting for it. But you can't have that. Someone has the rights. Like, Charlotte had Miguel's rights. They're gonna get something from Atlanta for those rights. Don't know what it is, but also this is the second time that Charlotte has been the bridesmaid. Because remember, they tried to get Marco Royce and ended up going to LA, and they got something from LA. It'll be some GAM, probably
400,000 for Royce. Yeah,
it'll be something. Probably won't be that. I would guess 300 if I had to guess. Maybe, I don't know. But the way MLS works is weird, and if you don't understand it, then you can talk out of your ass really easily about, it's a bidding war in MLS for so and so. Piontek could go to 3 teams. So Atlanta's negotiating with, and they've either got or are going to get his rights to make that negotiation. Also, you could always just go back to the well and call up Celtic and say, listen up, here's an offer for Kyogo. Take it, or I'm coming over there and I'm beating Brendan Rodgers senseless with a mackerel. I want to do that anyway.
That's what I was going to say, man.
Give me an excuse, Brendan.
Oh, and by the way, folks may not know this, but apparently there is an opening in the social media department at Celtic. So, if anybody ever wanted to just rail on Brendan Rodgers from within, they could get the gig there and just sit there and post on social media. The latest on Furuhashi-san, maybe a week ago, and then you had the one reference involving Odson Edward, where Edward had 15. It was an offer for 15 million pounds, and we don't know. And then you had a week later, Sammy Mokbel from the Daily Mail sit there and go, "Yeah, Atlanta United's offered 15 million," but there was no timestamp, no sense of context, no nothing. And from reports over on that side of the pond, it looks like Edward's interest in Major League Soccer has cooled. Therefore, that's why we have not heard anything on that front in the last week.
No, thank you. I've watched Odson Edward, talented player, man. It felt like from the outside, when he left Celtic, he was ready to go to Crystal Palace. Like, he had decided that was the move he wanted.
Yeah.
And more power to you if it is, man. Like, and more power to you if you want to make that move. If you want, like, the big move, the next stage of your life, the next stage of your career. I'm going to be real blunt with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
We just moved on from a striker who gave very similar vibes. And I have zero interest in going down that road again with somebody who will come in, can produce, but the second the grass looks greener somewhere else,
yeah,
they're possibly going to mentally, or the situation isn't what they want.
Right.
They might mentally check out. I have zero, almost negative interest in that. Mine would be ELL, then Kyogo is second on my power rankings, emotionally speaking, and then Piontek.
Yes. Odson Edward, you, sir, can go, yeah. And, Odson Edward basically is like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. Okay, cool, great, fine. No worries.
Yeah, great. Because Dyla said it yesterday in media availability of, we want guys who want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to be here, I'll find someone who does.
Yep. Since how many times, Tyler, have you been up to training since we last had you on the show?
Since then, I haven't been back up there. I haven't been able to. It's been.
Come on.
I know, man. I'm slacking. It's just everything has not been working out the way that I thought it would.
The reason I ask is I wanted to get your vibes on Ronnie Dyla so far, philosophy, feedback from what players have been saying, that kind of a thing, as we are rolling into the Ronnie Dyla era. And by the way, there's a match this weekend up in Chattanooga where we actually get to see folks out there on the pitch in 40-degree weather. So, we're getting close to that first match where Ronnie Dyla is implementing the tactics, and he's so far the feedback has been positive from Dyla about what he's been able to see from the players that are there.
Yeah, I mean, Henry was able to make it up kind of in my stead the other day. Got to look at kind of how training went. They talked with Derek. I think Derek said Ronnie's been pretty straightforward. He said, this is what I want to do. This is what I need you to do. This is what I expect from you. And he said, I think this is what Saba said. I have it pulled up. He said, he's like, what we did last year, but we have to be better, have to be more consistent. And he said for Saba, he said it's all about the personality. Every day you just have to work on being better. But no, I mean, I think really the kind of the overall vibe encapsulated was just like we showed flashes of it in 2024, especially in the playoffs, but it wasn't consistent and it wasn't enough. And you go back to the interview that I had with Ronnie, and I mean, his words were, we have to be more a-holes. We have to be, we were too nice. And I mean, there's something to be said about that. Like, there were times where, and we've talked about it, I know we beat the dead horse at this point, but like there were times where it was like, dude, what are we doing? Why are we not fighting for our team more?
Yeah.
Not going to have that issue under Ronnie. But it does seem like, from what we talked to Henry about, what he wrote, everything else. And I'll be up there soon, but a lot more disciplined, I would say. I mean, Derek said it best, but like he has a plan and he's coming out the gate implementing that plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And then he comes out yesterday and says, hey, I don't want you here if you don't want to be here. If you're only here for the money, don't care. Don't want you here. And I'm good with that. Like, please bring people to this club that want to be here. I love that. And I'm really curious to see kind of how things play out in Chattanooga, because it's very, very early in this preseason. And I'm just, I still want to see a certain level of discipline and, front foot kind of, I'm not saying it has to be attacking the entire preseason match, but like, I just want to see guys on the same page. I want to see chemistry. So,
and Jarrett, you're going up to Chattanooga. It'll be I will be intrigued as to how many minutes folks get. We're going to be catching up with Chris Nugent, the head coach of Chattanooga FC, on Thursday. That'll air on the Friday show, and find out, because there are some pieces from CFC that are no longer there, and some of them are in Statesboro actually. And so to see players move from CFC to Statesboro for the next stage of their careers, I think Anatoly Prepolita, I think, is the first one that steps into my brain. But Chattanooga FC, in the past, when we've watched them in MLS Next Pro against Atlanta United too, there have been times where CFC has been an absolute pain in the you-know-what. And those are going to be guys who are going to be looking at this a little differently than Ronnie Dyla. But at the same time, Ronnie Dyla is going to be sitting there going, yeah, we still got to take this first step. Today, we are a month away on the calendar, however many days that is, 30 or 31. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. So 31 days from match day one. So you're in this kind of two lanes of traffic here with Ronnie Dyla. You're going up against a team that wants to prove itself out of the blocks. They haven't really had a whole lot of reps, but you've got guys that want to prove themselves in CFC. Atlanta United wants to come out there and prove that what Ronnie Dyla has been teaching them is being implemented in whatever stage we're looking at coming up this weekend up there at Fort Finley.
Yeah, I'll have fun with that. I won't be up there. I'll be watching it. Like, I'm on solo parenting duty this week for like a week and a half, man.
That's right.
We're holding down the fort. It's team chaos over here, bud.
Wow.
So I'll be watching the stream. I'm gonna see what it looks like. I look forward to everyone losing their shit over a preseason game a week or two into training with a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look forward to that. I look forward to everybody making sweeping judgments off of one moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun to watch.
See, Jared's hitting all the stereotypes out of the blocks.
Getting ahead of the game.
Yeah, like, I want to see who's in the best shape of their life. Want to see who wants it, who's got that want. Gonna find out who's got that dog in them. We're gonna get all of like these knee-jerk reactions out of the way, and somebody's gonna be amazing, somebody's gonna be a total disappointment. We just need a Paul Feinbaum level catastrophe. Also, shout out to whatever absolute superhero it was that called into C-SPAN to complain about Bama getting left out of the playoff.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was what I needed to get through the week, and not all heroes wear capes. Some of them just have C-SPAN on speed dial. But man, yeah, it's the first preseason game. It's Chattanooga. It's going to be squirrely. They were squirrely last year. Remember, just because somebody is not in your division or not on your level does not mean they do not have talent, and that they will not get up for that game to punch you in the nose. Because Luis Araujo was like the king of preseason hype, man. It always seemed like a good dude, and he was just pressing so hard. And then you would like see him in preseason, you're like, oh, this guy's going to score 15 goals and have 8 assists. It never happened.
That dude was magical in preseason and at the training ground, 100%.
Oh yeah,
bangers left and right.
Ground legend. Y'all ever heard that story about how, like, when Jimmy Butler was having one of his famed like disputes and hissy fits, that he took like the bench players and played a scrimmage with him and the bench players versus the starters, and then won that scrimmage at practice. Is like, y'all need me, and like walked out. Yeah, man. Like Luis had that kind of quality. Maybe not the psychosis that comes with a Jimmy Butler, but like that quality of like training ground. Luis was like a legendary creature.
Oh boy.
It was like the 4 times a year when the Falcons would give the ball to Anton Smith, and Anton Smith would take off like and cover 60 yards faster than any human being on the planet that day. And you're like, man, imagine if he could do this more consistently. That was Luis Araujo.
Yep. And Luis is still making a career out of it down in South America.
Doing well down there in Brazil, man. At Last Jack.
You find your country, you find your system, you find your team, and you find folks that sit there and they will have your they will let you have your Jimmy Butler-ish behavioral patterns and outbursts and things. So you find your place, you're happy, then everything's
Ricky,
cool.
find someone who you love as much as the Falcons loved running a shovel pass to Jason Snelling on the 4-yard line.
Wow.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Well, yeah. Well, but then you've got the Arthur and Jonnu Smith connection when it comes to calling plays for not your starting tight end, but your experienced tight end, the one that you picked up in round 1 of the NFL draft. No, you're not going to do stuff to him or have him post up or anything like that. You're going to go to the 10-year lifer who has moments of being of brilliance and has moments
that
of showing
lifer
why
put up better numbers with Miami this year than a certain number 8 did in Atlanta, and that
correct.
was with Tua undergoing another round of concussions and losing another set of childhood memories and playing like Skylar Thompson, throwing him the football.
Yes.
So who's to say we didn't keep the wrong tight end?
There's that. So Tyler, sir, what is going on this evening that folks need to know about, considering that you and I think it was you and Ache and Sid were on MLS Monday. What's it looking like tonight?
That depends on weather and who can make it home. But no, we'll have the normal show at 7:00, regardless of who might be able. I will be home all day, so I will definitely be there. But no, definitely going to be talking Chattanooga. I'll be there if anybody is going. Come say hey. John, you are going to be there.
Yeah, you can come say hey in the press box. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Those food trucks they have down out to the side, those are good. So I may partake.
Yes.
You
can import, like other folks do. Yeah. Other folks in their liquids. Yeah. I've been known to somebody that I'm pointing at's been known to import liquid into the press box there at Fort Finley.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes, right? Like, I mean, not violating anything.
Everybody, yeah. Like, what are you gonna like? Are you gonna shame someone? They brought alcohol into a sporting event,
right?
Oh, well, let me clutch my pearls.
Right. I'm not drunk.
No,
I'm attending a sports event and writing about it. Like, it's okay. No,
and I gave to the local economy by participating with the food trucks in the north end zone.
They served us Bananas Foster in the press box when Messi was here. They'll be fine if someone sneaks in an airplane bottle of whatever.
Yeah, that Bananas Foster's off the chain too, though.
Look, Messi can come back whenever he wants it. That means there's Bananas Foster in the press box.
So yes, so depending on technology and freezing temperatures and whoever else is available, what are the topics tonight? Are you going to just go completely and totally wall to wall on Miguel and ELL and everything else?
That's going to be part of it. I was kind of hoping we were going to have something else to talk about today, but probably not.
Well, no, if it's going to be announced, it'll be announced after we're off the air, as it always is.
Yeah, it's always in between. It's either the tail end of y'all's show and before ours. But no, not the thing that people are thinking of. I know for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's happening. Yeah. I know there's going to be stuff to talk about tomorrow that pertains to it. I'll just drop that. But
okay.
But that's going to be later, probably in the day. So
Okay.
I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping for it for tonight to get a rant ready, but no, it'll be Chattanooga, it'll be Miggy, it'll be Latte Lath, it'll be whatever news hopefully drops between the end of y'all's show and the beginning of our show, because that
Of
does.
course. All right. So how do folks partake on the YouTubes, sir?
Scarves N Spikes, like, subscribe, do all that stuff.
Yes.
And then, yeah, over on every social media platform, including the one that goes up and comes down and goes back up again or whatever. Scarves N Spikes on Twitter, and then Scarves N Spikes everywhere else.
Yes, what he said. As always, my friend, it's great to have you here to discuss anything and everything that has either everything to do with the sport and the team here in the footprint, or nothing to do with the sport and everything here in the footprint. So keep an eye out tonight. 7 o'clock, yes?
Yes, 7 o'clock.
Okay, so 7 o'clock on the YouTube, Scarves N Spikes. It'll be Tyler and whoever else has thrown kindling into their fire and has power and can salute everything going on there. So as always, my friend, it's great to have you on. You know, you can crash at any time. And especially when we get into the season on Fridays, it turns into hell on wheels. And so anything is possible in the 10 o'clock hour. Just drop on by whenever, and we'll party and we'll talk about things. That's the official term. Thanks for dropping by as always, my friend.
Appreciate it.
All right, there goes Tyler. Tyler's going to drink from his Ted Lasso mug now, and he will have everything to get ready for Scarves N Spikes on the YouTubes coming up later on all of your platforms. 7 o'clock tonight. So Tyler and everybody is there. Jarrett's still hanging out here because he's on solo parent duty. Katie has made it successfully to her locale.
Can I read this for you?
Sure, you go right ahead,
it's not
sir.
Soccer. It's not soccer related.
No.
I gotta get. I got something on my heart. I gotta get off my heart.
Absolutely, go for
it. It might kill me.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is from an article that was published last night after the MLB Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Again, if this is your first show, I'm going to complain about the Hall of Fame and complain about baseball a lot. I'm going to complain about ways to fix it too. This is referring because I read this and my brain stopped working. I missed the last 45 seconds of what Tyler said because all I heard was just the sound of a howler monkey in my brain screaming as I read this. This is in relation to one Andrew Jones. Jones was a truly generational center fielder, no doubt. But take a few wins off his WAR total, and that puts him in the mid-50s, enough to make him fall short of the Hall of Fame to me. Not to mention that there are several more worthy center fielders deserving of Hall of Fame status in my book, such as Carlos Beltran, who might not get in because he was heavily involved with the Astros cheating scandal, so much so that the Mets rescinded a job offer as a manager for him. Kenny Lofton, Jim Edmonds, and perhaps Bernie Williams.
Whoa.
Take a few wins off his WAR total, and that puts him in the mid-50s. Yes, and take away the bat and the speed and the arm, and Ichiro Suzuki's just a middling outfielder. Put wheels on my grandmother, and she's a bicycle.
Yes. Put wings on a frog, he wouldn't bump his ass.
Listen, if you ever feel imposter syndrome, and I do, every single day, every time I step into a press box, every time I step into a locker room, every time I ask somebody a question, anytime I do my day job, feel imposter syndrome all the time. It takes a lot to work through it. Coping mechanisms, positive affirmations, being kind to yourself, all that. Read articles that people post and get paid to write, and you can feel better about yourself because Jesus Christ, someone got paid to write that.
Yeah.
Alan Iverson, 6'8", he's a GOAT. Yeah, that's an entirely different conversation that, once again, a younger generation is not ready for. I'm not saying Allen Iverson was a top 5 player all time, but that was a moment, Ricky, that you had to be there for. If you weren't there to see Allen Iverson drag Philadelphia into an NBA Finals, you didn't understand.
No.
People just write things. So speak your mind. It's going to be okay. Because Jesus Christ, I can't deal with that. Anyway, I know we're talking about soccer.
Well, we kind of are, but it's a wall pass
We're
Wednesday.
trying to.
Well, yeah, we're kind of trying. But it is part and parcel to everything. And apparently, Charlotte. Okay, so I'm going to pull Derek's quote and just all right. So yes, Ricky, that is absurd. All right, so I have because of our current setup here, I have my iPad up or whatever kind of a device. It's the Google version or somebody else's version of the iPad. And Amazon's version of the iPad. That's who it is. So I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm on the 280 character app, and I'm going to turn the post from Charlotte FC. I'm going to turn it so it can be seen by everybody here, and I will describe what it is once it goes. So, all right. So Charlotte FC posted this onto their social media. Wilf Zaha already in front of a sellout crowd at B of A. I don't know how old the photo is of the sellout crowd at B of A, but here we go. So welcome home, Wilf Zaha. They write, world-class players in front of a world-class atmosphere. Charlotte is and in all caps and boldface, soccer city. Charlotte is a soccer city by bringing in Wilf Zaha. I would have thought, and like I said, this is just me, and I don't know, I might be stoking fires or something like that. I would have thought that you would have embraced the idea of already being a soccer city by having a franchise in the first place and not having to sit there and say, well, we brought in Wilf Zaha, so Charlotte is a soccer city. Like I said, it's just that's just me. And it's like, if you already are, then this should be normal operating procedure, bringing in players of this stature. But to sit there and say Charlotte is a soccer city when you brought in Wilf Zaha to reinforce an opinion, perhaps, I don't know. But it was odd writing from Charlotte to sit there and reinforce. See, that's almost what it felt like. See, no Marco Royce, no Miguel Almiron, but we did get Wilf Zaha, so we're a soccer city. And so literally, and I think that that Abby and Ricky are on to this. Abby says it's a failure of the social media team, but Ricky says little brother syndrome. And this is what we have. And full disclosure, I mean, we will have our buddy Willie P on, Will Pelagic, the play-by-play voice for Charlotte. We'll have him on as we get closer to the season because we want to check in with everybody. But it's like, go ahead, don't just do the first line, don't do the second. Everything's fine. Be you. Be the growing force. Thank you, Abby. So everybody that wants to see what Charlotte has posted, you can go to Charlotte FC on the 280 character app. But you don't reinforce something to tell me something, just to tell me something. Be that thing. Be the badass at the end of the block. Don't tell me you're the badass at the end of the block. Just do it. You don't have to sit there and tell me you're a soccer city. Just be a soccer city through what you're doing. You don't have to reinforce it in the second sentence. So anyway, like I said, it's just like, come on. So that's where we are. Okay. Like I said, it's a Wall Pass Wednesday. Let me get into what's on everybody's mind and everything like that. With saying hi to everybody and let everybody find out who's here and who's doing what. So, good morning. Morning, Derek. Morning, Abby. Abby, yeah, watch out for frozen stuff and black ice. See, now Abby's having to deal with the same thing that the boss is dealing with. She got a friend who broke her wrist last Friday, thought all the black ice had melted and everything. It has not. So be careful with that stuff, please. Morning, Alex. Morning, David. Morning, Pars. Yes. Oh, no. Pars's water heater just went out. Luckily, you've got a home warranty. Morning, Cassie. Morning, Thomas. Let's see. Morning, David. David. David, much like you, Jarrett, David is in the house this morning. He's stuck in the house with a pile of homeschooling kids.
No, I sent mine to school. School's open. We're good.
Oh, you got school open. Okay. I did not know that schools were open in your part of the world, but everything was safe on your part. So just make sure the buses avoid the black ice. Morning, Tom.
So like where we are up like Cobb County schools are open. We didn't get as much as the city did, especially in the north part of the county.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So I think we ended up getting like 2 inches, but most of it glazed over pretty badly, and that's what the problems were this morning. Let's see. Morning, Dave. Morning, David. Tom had the early morning run, came home. No one on the roads at 8:15 in Sandy Springs. Ricky says pour one out for extra time. And I think after 15 years, they have finally decided to hang it up when it comes to discussing content. Abby says, great to watch the snow in Houston and New Orleans. Where, yeah, you're getting 10 inches. 10 inches of snow in New Orleans, and you're having former Columbus River Dragons hockey players skating on Canal Street in New Orleans. Like ice skates. Professional hockey players doing that. So I thought that was a pretty funny one there too. Also on the board as we go, Kefsey made it. Okay. So Kefsey, that bridge that I was discussing. So Kefsey knows the bridge I was discussing about an opening kickoff, about driving home yesterday. Made it over the crossing bridge on the bus, but nearly took out a few cars since some stalled in the normal lane. Yeah, because there was like I said, Jared, I was describing driving home yesterday and how things just kind of went sideways and people were stupid. I know that shocks you. But the Sam's Crossing Bridge near Office HD and apparently part of Kefsey's bailiwick as well. Bus nearly took out a few cars. Some stalled in the normal lane. And there was actually a bus that was in the opposite lanes of traffic. No one was coming, obviously, in that lane, but they had to try to figure out a way to get rid of the bus that was going down the bridge opposite the lane of traffic that it was supposed to be in. So it was sliding in the southbound lanes, or sorry, the northbound lanes, and the cops had shut it down. So, Kefsey, I know of which the pain that you were seeing. Abby was looking for the photos from Tallahassee. Apparently, the student body at Florida State, when they saw snow, somebody broke out a Buddy the Elf outfit, and others decided to climb trees. So that video is out there involving Florida State University and the snow. And Pensacola had some cool pics as well. Kefsey said ladies from Jersey offered to drive if the bus driver wasn't confident. Fantastic. That's awesome. Morning, Harry. San Antonio FC continues to sign players. We'll see if we can catch up with Kaler one of these days before the season starts and find out what's going on in USL Championship. Kefsey says the bus driver threatened jokingly he was going to take his back. Really was the last bus yesterday. So, yes, I do, Michael. Michael Head. No surprise. So I risk my life. I risk my life for Mountain Dew. We were out. We didn't have any water. We didn't have like water. And currently, the way that things are for the boss, she has that. It's not a cast yet. My guess is it's going to be a cast probably in 2 weeks when they go back in early February. But right now, it's just a big wrap, like the offensive linemen in the 1970s and the NFL film stuff, Jarrett, that they would wear. That's what she's got currently on her left arm. One of those big.
Oh, like the defensive linemen that would like wrap 3 miles of tape around their hand and make it a club, so that when they did that, when they did the hump move, instead of like, hitting someone with the side of your hand, it was kind of like hitting them with a sledgehammer.
Yes, that is currently what the boss has on her arm. And she has it, and she's got to stick with that, I think, until February 4th. And so, yes, she literally has wraps all the way up to the base of her fingers So it is one of those It is one of those defensive lineman 1970s NFL clubs, and so she is burning through the water that we have in the plastic containers and the recyclable containers. And we're trying to figure out, okay, how can she stay hydrated and all these kinds of things. And we figured out that if she drinks from those bottles instead of glasses or cups with water in them because of the margin for error, we were out. So we were out of those. We were out of soda. We were out of flavored water. We didn't have any salt for the driveway. And so literally it was like in soups and things like that, just to kind of get through the next couple of days. So that was why I went out yesterday. But Michael is not wrong in that I risked my life for Mountain Dew because I was out of that as well. But spot me just the idea of, okay, look, I'm helping the boss out here. Give me just we'll put that out there. Besides, she has that defensive lineman club, and she can clock me anytime she wants to between now and the time that's off. So that's what you're looking at there. Yeah. Well, and they are. Abby is saying to make sure that the company gives credit for all the days lost, and they are. They are giving us a week's credit for our bill for not having the capability to watch cable television in 2 of the 3 outlets here in the house. But what we did do, we have gone back to the old school ways of watching things. HDMI cables and computers. Plug those in, and we watched. Jared, I don't know if you had. Jared, you've got the Apple TV package, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're catching up on Shrinking. And so we're almost.
I need to catch up on that. I'm doing Severance right now because I need like existential crisis in my life.
Yeah,
and it provides that.
Yeah, and so we are right to the end of season 2. When we were down at the Gulf of Gulfs last week, we were down in St. George. We started binge watching Shrinking season 2. We'd already seen season 1, so we started watching season 2. And so last night, because we didn't want to all sit down here in the office and watch TV, we had 3 episodes left in season 2 of Shrinking. We got through 2 of them before the boss called it a night. And so we now have the season finale left for Shrinking in season 2. But what we did last night is we have an HDMI cable attached to the TV in the den and brought the laptop up, plugged it into the laptop, and watched it that way. So that's how we're kind of catching up on television, is laptop HDMI cable into monitor, and we're doing that on the main level. So that's how we're doing our workaround for current television before hopefully Thursday afternoon. And then we get everything back, and you can actually see me at a different angle as opposed to all the other, the angle that you've been watching this week. But no, thank you for all of your forbearance and your patience. But yes, Abby, we are getting credit for what's going on. Michael, a fan of the Wilf Zaha pickup, good business by Charlotte, loved Zaha at Palace. And Dean Smith knows of Wilf Zaha from their time going up against each other in the Premier League. You've got Zaha, you've got BL, and you've got Malanda and the work at the back. And you've got Tim Ream, who is back there helping Malanda mature as an MLS player. And then you have, a keeper in Christian Kalina. So the pieces for Charlotte in the starting 11 are there. I will be intrigued to see how it all fits together with BL coming back, Jared, and now Zaha being a part of the mix.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they put it all together. Like I said, I think they have the depth pieces, and I think they have like the bones, the foundation to be good. It's just you needed something to take you over the top. I think Zaha can be that guy. You have a great goalkeeper who can look. He can keep you in games when it's not on. I think one of my only concerns with them would be like if Kalina slipped at all.
Yeah.
And then you feel like, oh my God, we wasted or not to say really you wasted, but you didn't fully take advantage of those times where I think if they had put together a great DP core with the team they had last year and gotten production, that's a miserable team to play in the playoffs because of what he can do. Now, I think he'll still be fine, so they'll be fine and they'll be miserable to play against. But you got to have the productivity that comes with that. And as this league shifts, I think we're going to get more into you got to be able to do something with the ball. You can't just sit.
Yeah,
you can't just sit off. Too many teams are getting more dynamic, spending more money in how they can break you down. So, I had my concerns with the way they did things last year at times, where I felt like Dean Smith just kind of sat a lot, and maybe that's just establishing. They establish that defense first mentality of we're not going to give up cheap goals, but you also have to be able to go find goals, and having a guy like that can give you that difference maker who can help you go find goals.
No, definitely looking at that. News quickly that is breaking out of the lower divisions. Tormenta announces that Gabriel Cabral is returning to Tormenta. Was a part of the roster that won the League One title in 22. Rejoins the club pending league and federation approval after making 48 appearances for the Miami FC in USL Championship. Frankly, right now, I don't know what the roster looks like for the Miami FC. Head coach Nocerino, I think, is in Vegas, if memory serves, so he got to escape. Players are escaping the Miami FC, I think, and the next time we have Kayla on to break this all down, I think that the owners at the Miami FC are trying to go things the economical route, and we will see how their player recruitment is and how things are going to look for them in 2025. But so Gabriel Cabral has returned to Tormenta after the years at the Miami FC. So that was announced this morning at 10 o'clock. Also on the board, the lower divisions, Brooks Thompson is joining Lexington SC after he was acquired on loan from Hartford Athletic. So he's coming in for the 2025 side for Lexington. Lexington is not sitting on their hands when it comes to their self-promotion from League One to the USL Championship. I will be intrigued as to how things are going to look for Lexington in their first year in USL Championship compared to the growing pains that they had in USL League One last season. Will they be growing pains just on a different level because you've gone up to second division? Or is there going to be continuity because of the players that you had, like a Cameron Lancaster and such, that are going to be a part of the deal involving your growth to USL Championship? Kefsey with an incredibly salient point that Caleb Wiley still owns Bank of America Stadium.
Homegrowns own that stadium because Jay's got a timeshare on there too. Remember, that was his first goal last year.
Yes, absolutely true. Mentioning, and Abby's mentioning what's going on with flights and such. Maddie and Jason are heading to Orlando, and apparently Maddie is stuck in the line to get in to the concourse. So she is stuck in the TSA security line. Jason found the ways to do it, and Jason did it in a fairly decent amount of time, but apparently there are a lot of upset Notre Dame fans at Hartsfield this morning, and there were yesterday as well. So Jason is through TSA as they are heading to Central Florida for, I think it's UPSL activity. And you can catch that on YouTube. The match tonight's at 7 o'clock. But apparently Maddie is still stuck in TSA and has been for, let's see. So we're going on 2.5 hours from the last notification that Maddie gave in line. So Maddie is stuck in TSA, 2.5 hours and counting, but this is as of 20 minutes ago. We don't know any progress, and we'll keep you posted. But Jason made it through. He's getting ready for his flight down to Central Florida. Maddie, as of 20 minutes ago, was still in the TSA line, and hopefully she will make it through. But yeah, keep an eye out on your social medias tonight for activity out of Central Florida. 7 o'clock will be the will be the call for what's going on there as well. Morning, Emilio, and morning. Let's see, morning, Ricky. And the thought about going to 30 and 31. Alex for Miggy. Alex has his marker for Miguel Almiron. Jarrett needs either double-digit assists or double-digit goals. He thinks that that would be a success, having one or the other in double digits. If both obviously are in double digits, that's great.
What if I told you he doesn't get that,
Mm-hmm.
and the team is still potentially very successful because they spread out the production more so?
Yeah.
Because I'm not
So
convinced if he gets on, as he gets going, I'm not convinced that you don't see Saba reap the benefits as much, if not more.
Yeah.
Where I wonder, and this is kind of a wondering out loud thing, I wonder if you don't see other players directly benefit from people knowing what Miguel can do, and he frees up space for others as often as he's able to find space for himself. Now, he absolutely could get to double digits. I care personally, and I understand where you're going with the numbers on it, because I don't think it's unrealistic, and I don't think it's an unfair ask.
Yeah.
I would trade all of that if it meant that the entire front line just absolutely clicks. Like if you told me Miguel ends up like racking up hockey assists at a staggering rate, I would believe that too.
Yeah. And I think that if you have Saba, Miranchuk, Miggy, your 9, all of those folks, high single digits, if they were all in the 7 and 7, 8 and 8, somewhere in there, maybe somebody had double-digit goals, maybe somebody had double-digit assists. I think that, and this is a point that you've made in the past about positional gravity, where if you have an individual that draws the eye line of a club, then that means that somebody's going to be open. So, if Saba's got the ball and he gets a double team, somebody's going to be open. Miranchuk has the ball. He gets a double team. Somebody's going to be open. And Miggy, oh, my God, you're going to have everyone try to collapse on him and act like you're going to be blitzing from the 0 and the 9 and try to bring a safety up the middle and try to pressure Miggy into turning the ball over. But that means that there are dudes that are going to be open. And it will be on those individuals in those moments to create when the pressure is on that player that is drawing more than a 1v1 matchup. So I think that if you have all of these dudes getting 7s, getting 8s, somebody goes 8 and 10, 8 and 12, something like that. Alex is like 10 out of 10, 10 and 10 would be great, but wouldn't be disappointed with 7 or 8 and 14 or something like that. So if your goals and assists added up to 20, that's, I think, the number that you're hunting for just as a base.
Yeah, look, I would be over the moon. There's a world where he doesn't get those numbers, and yes, it's disappointing. I think there's also a world where he doesn't hit those numbers, but he makes the team better by being there and being a threat. So I don't want to tie his value strictly to goals and assists,
right?
Just because I think other guys are going to benefit from him being there. It is, I think you're looking at like a very big prove it year for Alex Saba, who, look, man, Saba wears his heart on his sleeves. I think Saba, similar to Ronald Hernandez, might actually die for that shirt. Where you don't always say that about guys, man. Like Ronald will die for it, and I think Saba would. Like Saba will run himself into the ground for that club.
Yeah,
and I think it's an admirable quality. But he and there were times last year where I think he absolutely put that team on his back at times. And look, I've said before, I don't think he's that kind of player. I don't think he is an A1. I think he is more of a Chris Bosh, Joe Johnson, which isn't meant to be an insult. He is just a guy who can at times put you on his back and drag you up the side of Mountain Doom.
Yep.
But he is also a guy who I think will thrive with other guys around him who can free him up and help him relax a bit, where he doesn't feel like he has to do it all.
Yeah.
Well, now you're getting that. He's got to put up, and this isn't a thinly veiled threat to say Saba's got to score X amount of goals or nothing matters. This is a, this is a feeling of I'm expecting really good things from him, and I hope he produces it. And the same goes for Xande Silva, because he's going to get minutes. The same goes for Edwin Mosquera if he's not sold, because he's going to get minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The same goes for Luke Brennan when he gets on the field. It's not as pertinent for Luke because he's a kid, and this will, hopefully he does get more minutes this year. But this is very much a show me kind of situation,
Mm-hmm. And one other name that we have not had the chance to discuss, you and I specifically, is Luis Abram. And it was revealed earlier this week in Brazilian outlets that multiple teams apparently in the Brasileiro are interested in perhaps having Luis Abram added to their particular rosters. I've yet to see any kind of advanced specificity to that, but Luis Abram is also on the list. I think with Edwin, it was Atlético Nacional that had the initial offer that I think was rejected by Atlanta United, if memory serves. And so Luis Abram and the Brasileiro have been linked earlier this week as well. So I think that's where we're at. But not necessarily a surprise, considering.
No, I don't think so either.
The back line, yeah.
No, I don't think so either, man. Look, he fits all of those check boxes for me personally. Because he is an expensive depth piece right now. You're most likely going to play 4-2-3-1. Mm-hmm. You've got Noah Cobb, who can play center back. You've got Efrain Morales, who can play center back. You're paying a lot of money to a guy who is not a starting center back right now, unless unless Ronnie Dyla comes in and says, I like what he brings to the table over Derek Williams or over our Joe Hendry replacement.
Yes.
It's an expensive player who you can offload and free up salary with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he is when we talk like in another sport, we talk about somebody being a cap casualty. I think he could be that. And if that means he's going back to South America, be it a loan, be it a purchase, being it a loan with a purchase option or a purchase obligation, whatever. When I look at that roster, Luis Abram, and I do like Luis, but I think he is like the one you zero in on as somebody who can be moved. So
it was 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, where you had multiple clubs looking to perhaps have Luis Abram added to the Brasileiro. He is willing to listen, is the quote that is attached to teams on the Brasileiro and Luis Abram. Your Maddie update is that she is still in the TSA line. We are now 3 hours. Hours from Maddie. 3.
Totally buy Popeyes.
I know.
Should have bought Popeyes just for the line.
Yes, absolutely. So Jason is on the other end, and
actually, she'd have been in hell. Imagine eating a Popeyes biscuit and standing in line. You can't have water. Never mind. Maddie'd have been in the 8th circle of hell.
Yes. So Jason, who is Jason's on the other side. He's waiting. Apparently, their flight is now 12:24 departure to head to Central Florida for the broadcast tonight. Maddie's still in line for TSA, trying to get through to get to the gate, but she's still got some time. And so the flight that they were on has now been delayed twice. It is now a 12:24 departure.
Advertisement for TSA pre-check, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah, no doubt. And you now, do you want to give your secret out when it comes to checking it? Because I had not considered your secret before, and then you mentioned it, and I was like, "Damn, that's a great idea."
What the international is not a secret.
Yeah, that. Yeah, it's to
That's
me, it's
not
a
a
secret.
secret. Is it?
Yeah,
That's not a secret, brother. Okay, if you don't know, just go to the international terminals TSA. If you don't know that, but I feel like a lot of people who travel know that. Just like, yeah, go to the international terminal.
okay.
I
Because
feel
I've
because I feel like a lot of people know that. If they don't, then great. I'm happy to impart that wisdom. But you'll hear it from other people too.
okay. So that was, that was one of the, I had never heard of that. I
I
legitimately
know
had never heard of that.
I know the boss was traditionally travels a lot more, but
Yes, that is true.
I
She
didn't know
does.
if she did that or she does pre-check.
No, no, she's not clear, but the other one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely got the TSA pre-check. She's into that. She doesn't do clear. She does the other one that's tied to TSA. Fender. Good morning. Fender had an interesting thought, and I wasn't all of that, bent out of shape about it. With what we were discussing earlier, Fender goes, I kind of like the Instagram hype speculation. Am I unwell? The answer is no.
No, like I said, we're doing the MySpace thing all over again, man. Like this is like somebody rolled up onto Latelas, like MySpace, and saw that he changed his top 5 friends.
Yeah,
That is my translation for those of us who are of a more millennial persuasion.
yeah,
Atela just moved Chris Henderson into his top 5 friends.
yeah.
That's what
So there you
happened.
go. Yeah.
There you go.
And
He's
mentioning,
also absolutely changing his song. Um, Probably not his background, although he knows how to do it because all of us learned the basic of HTML coding
yeah,
when we all had MySpace.
yeah. Except for those of us that really didn't go to MySpace and just kind of
That's
watched
okay.
everybody else.
I won't say you didn't miss much because it was a magical time, but
Yeah. And so, yeah, I was not big into the MySpace kind of a thing. We were discussing uh, things in Major League Soccer that would improve fan knowledge, understanding, what have you. Michael has one that we hadn't really thought of, but it does relate to the current situation involving Zaha, Charlotte, Marco Royce, and Miguel Almiron. Michael is proposing that the dibs lists go public because personally, he'd like to know who's on Atlanta United's discovery list, but he'd like for all of those dibs lists to go public. I like that idea, just to sit there and see, who Neymar's dibs for, who CR39 or 40 or however the hell old he is. So, Cristiano Ronaldo, who's got dibs on him? Who's got dibs on Mbappe? Who's got dibs on Joe Bellingham, if not Jude? I would like for the discovery list to be known as a part of the knowledge process when it comes to Major League Soccer and who you might be chasing at any given time. I like that.
I think this is brilliant. No, I think that's exactly how it should be. No, I 100%. I want it. I want that kind of thing public. This is. It's not all of it, but this is part of that conversation of making MLS information like this more public and more transparent. I think you need to do that, man. You need to find a way to make it more transparent, make it easier for us to understand what's going on, and less of the cloak and dagger and smoke and mirrors nonsense that MLS so often operates in. That makes it so hard for people to keep up with stuff. And I think it kind of is a barrier to entry at times for fans. It's like in a similar way, and NBA doesn't have the same levels of barrier to entry because it also doesn't come with the same stigma as soccer does for a lot of American fans. But like trying to understand how NBA contracts work is a fool's errand.
Yes. And we have the trade generators and things like that because we know about everything going on in NBAs. You can sit there with the rules of NBA and all of their silly, convoluted exceptions and markers and ceilings and all this kind of stuff, at least what you can do is you can put something into the hopper and understand, okay, I need to do this, and this to make a trade work because of salary figures and things like that. Like I said, we've got places like NHL numbers. We've got folks that do NBA cap and things like that. Right now, there are still, the MLSPA puts out the salary numbers for Major League Soccer players, but there are still things about, okay, here's how much is invested, here's what's going on, here's your cap, here's how much space you have left, here's the dibs list. There's still a couple of things that I think would make the experience for Major League Soccer fans more understandable across the board about what you can and can't do in any given space. Like I said, that's just me. That's what I'm staring at. Okay, a couple of things from Fabrizio Romano, and thank you. I know. A couple of things from Fabrizio Romano. Looks like Kyle Walker. Is Kyle Walker a here we go?
I think Kyle Walker is either a here we go watch or warning.
Okay. Agreed to terms with AC Milan on a contract valid till June of 2027, activated in case Milan decide to proceed with the buy option clause, not mandatory, from City in the summer after a loan. Okay, so it is. Agreed deal, here we go. Loan move, buy option clause, not mandatory. Salary covered by AC Milan with contract agreed. Travel and medical being planned. Manchester City's captain ready for a new chapter. Milan wanted Walker. It was never linked to the Tomori exit. Manchester United in talks for Patrick Dorgu continue after the 27 million euro bid was rejected. Lecce insisting on 40 as they're aware of Napoli's interest for July. United also have more options in the list, including Alvaro Carreras with an 18 million euro buyback clause. After Manchester City, Chelsea have also asked Juve about a potential loan for Douglas Luiz until June. Juve have no intention to open doors to a loan move at this stage. Negotiations, they are not advancing. And Napoli made contact with Dortmund about Karim Adeyemi. Talks start with BVB, open to a January exit. Negotiations for Garnacho are still on, but no agreement with Manchester United after the first bid. Chelsea are also weighing up a formal proposal. So it's days like this that Fabrizio Romano sits there and goes, man, I'm going to post and I'm going to keep posting. So that's where we are. Alex, back with our Miggy discussion. Alex says, I'm of a different perspective in this league at this price. Miggy needs to be more than a gravity well. If he's making things click, it should be reflected in assists. That's why I don't mind if he isn't the one scoring, but at the minimum has the numbers that he was discussing earlier on. So that's where Alex is with his perspective when it comes to positional gravity at all.
Yeah, and I think my thing is, if he doesn't rack up a ton of assists, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like racking up a metric ton of hockey assists.
Yes.
Because I think there are going to be moments where he switches in and out with Maranchuk, where one of them is in the middle, one of them's flaring out. And if they take turns, and if Almiron is making that pass that is the pass that becomes the assisting pass that becomes the goal, I won't be shocked. Also, a lot of that depends on finishing when it comes to assisting. Like,
yes, it
relies on guys finishing, and guys finishing consistently and doing their job.
Yes.
Hockey assists, Alex. That's where I'm existing mostly. Is if he did that, I would expect him to. If he doesn't rack up a ton of assists, I would expect him to damn near lead the league in hockey assists. But then those should be proper assists for what it's worth. Like if you play a through ball out to somebody and they cross it in, like you should 100% always get the assist. I shouldn't have to wait for MLS to be like, we went back and credited Ricky Pooch with an assist because he played a 40-yard through ball out to Gabriel Peck.
Yes.
Who then crossed it in to Jovic, who put it away. Pooch should 100% always get an assist for that. And if we don't, then we should roll up a newspaper and slap you in the nose with it.
Correct.
But like a lot of this for me also is you got to have guys finish. Whether it's ELL or whoever the hell it is, striker, you know, whether it's Jamal or whoever, you have to have guys who finish.
Yes.
So it's I think it's for me a lot like and I know this is a controversial stat at times, but I need this triumvirate of midfielders and attacking talent that's behind the striker to be near the top of the league in key passes, in like dangerous key passes, like because key passes can get kind of weird and can get kind of blurry, but like I don't know how else to describe like the pass that should have been a goal and everyone looks at it and goes, "Oh man, that was a golden opportunity and that was a beautiful ball." I need them to lead the league in moments where we go, "Oh my god, what a ball."
Yes. Yes.
Like that is where I'm at, and that is hard to quantify. Should these guys be racking up assists and goals? Absolutely. But so much of it depends on putting the ball in the back of the net, and God help us if we haven't seen that sometimes can be a problem.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, whoever in the HELL is your number 9, finish your chances. And I know that is something that has frustrated Atlanta United fans over the last handful of seasons is you're close, you don't shut the door. All of those opportunities where we were all looking at close calls and going, as opposed to something like, actually and finishing. So that's kind of where we're at. And, the only activity that we've seen out of Middlesbrough this morning is they're currently in talks with Bournemouth on a loan for keeper Mark Travers. That is the only thing that we have seen where it was something that we have discussed that is a part of what they are trying to do, but they have not locked down the anything else involving Middlesbrough. Like we said earlier in the show, in hour number 1, the latest on ATLUTD, according to T's Side Live, that's one of the local papers, is that right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jarrett, but if right now it is Atlanta United, no one else. And Atlanta United has put forward the bid of 18+2. That's where we are involving ATLUTD. Middlesbrough was anticipating something of a bidding war involving teams either in the championship or in the Premier League, but right now that has not materialized. So in the 2 weeks that are left in the window, 12 days, right now that's what you're staring at. February 3rd is the end of the transfer window in England. So in the 12 days that are left, right now, as of this morning, it is Atlanta United and Middlesbrough kind of waiting for everybody else to say, okay, come on. Hey, you're interested, aren't you? That is not happening as of yet. And Ben Jacobs, when he was on with us yesterday, made the point that with Miguel Almiron, and this could also be the case with ATLUTD, but with Miguel Almiron and the relationship that you have with the club, having Miggy coming in later isn't necessarily, a bad thing because he's already in rhythm. He's already, on a daily training regimen with Newcastle, available for them on their rosters with Gummy Bear Cup and so on. So it's not like he would be coming to Atlanta completely out of playing shape if they were to wait to the end of the window and have Miggy be involved in a couple of matches leading into what's going on. There was word that came out involving Miggy yesterday where they're close, and it is something that you were, and I want to get the wording correct more than anything else. I want to get the wording correct when it involves Miggy and where we are. And it was another one of those tap dancey kind of things where, okay, so from Ralph Hanna et al., who's keeping an eye on things in Paraguay, Almiron on his way back to Atlanta United, home opener a month away, can expect to see him at Mercedes spins against Montreal February 22nd. Should get 4 Chile World Cup qualifying in late March. So that's where the Almiron chase, if you wish to call it that, is. So that was the word that came out yesterday involving Miguel Almiron. So close, getting closer, all this. And so if Miggy comes later, it's okay, considering you're in training camp, Newcastle is playing. Same with ATLUTD or anyone else that you would bring over from the European theater, because you're in training camp. You're still a month away, a month from today, for your first match. If somebody comes in 9 days from now or 10 days from now, or at the end of the window, February 3rd or 4th, you still have 2.5 weeks to integrate and get ready for the MLS season. It's not like you're coming in cold when it comes to conditioning, but you're going to be on a bit of a crash course in learning what Ronnie Dyla and the staff want you to do when it comes to your place in the starting 11 if you are an individual coming in the remainder of this window in the 12 days that are left. Did that make any sense, Jared?
Kind of. Also, I'm just keeping keep in mind, I'm also keeping up with Matty Watch 2020.
So what is Matty Watch? I feel like, well, hang on. Let me do it this way. So let me get this right. So let me see if I can hit it right and it'll work, but I don't know if it's going to. So be nice. Come on. Where is it? Come on. I guess it's not going to give it to me. So go ahead and tell me what Matty Watch is. I was trying to give it a breaking news sounder.
Oh, she said they moved them back to the other end of the security lines. Like, she's been like 3 hours in TSA security. God bless her.
Wow. So she is
Joker.
She is literally, she's at 3 hours plus. Once again, updating you for those that are kind of drifting in and out. Jason and Maddie are heading to Central Florida for a broadcast tonight. Match is at 7 o'clock. So Jason made it through TSA with flying colors. Not using Jarrett's thought about going through the international checkpoint, but still, Jason, in his time frame, got in. He's been there. He's been waiting. He's been sitting at the gate looking at all the delays and when the flight is supposed to be heading to Central Florida. So he's there. He's on the other side of security and has been for 2 hours, if not more. Because I think they got there like 7. Jason got there like 7:30 or something, and I think they both did. But Jason found the lines. Jason got through TSA, got through the checkpoint. He's been sitting at the gate for the entire show. He has been sitting at the gate. Maddie, on the other hand, I don't know what Maddie did, and I don't know who she pissed off. But she is, you know what, Jarrett, what we ought to do? We ought to see if Maddie can join us from the line.
No, because the second she does, she's going to get called up, and then they're going to get mad at her and kick her out of the TSA line, and I'm going to feel bad if we get Maddie arrested at the TSA.
Well, no, that's only if she throws her backpack at somebody, I would think.
I think we're close to that.
I mean, come on.
No, I can't ask her to do that.
Jason's at the gate. He's been there for 2 hours.
Their flight got moved back again. So like, he's like, I'm sitting at the gate waiting for a flight that might not happen.
Yes. Well,
and I mean, that flight has to happen because I don't think Maddie's brain would be able to handle waiting for a flight. Waiting through TSA that long, all to get to the gate and for the flight to be canceled. That might break her.
Oh, wow. That would. I think it would. I think it legitimately would. I mean, other news that we can kind of get into. Naomi Girma looks like she might be transferred from San Diego to Chelsea for over $1 million. Looks like it might be 1.1. So Naomi Girma, once again, you're looking at the worth of women's soccer and what you're able to do as an international talent. Naomi Gierma looks like it's $1.1 million going from San Diego to Chelsea. Manchester City have signed Carolyn Nicoli from North Carolina Courage on a 3.5-year deal. So she's there through 2028. According to Danny Rust, Manchester United have indicated they are set to make an improved bid on Dorgu, holding further talks over a move for Lecce today. Arsenal have made recent contact with Leipzig over Benjamin Sesko, who remains a strong 2025 target from our buddy Ben Jacobs, reigniting their interest from last year. Mid-season move still complicated, even with Leipzig knocked out of Champions League. Sesko's agent has made it clear, no loan in January. That's not happening. No loan. So not happening for you. So Paul Pogba considering offers from numerous Big Five clubs, no agreement. Chelsea is, once again, we mentioned nearing the deal on Naomi Gierma for a world record fee. Dortmund fired their head coach Nuri Sahin after the losing streak reaches 4, and they're smack dab in the middle in the Bundesliga. Right now they're in 10th place, and that's unacceptable. Feyenoord fans have been banned. You've been banned, sir. Feyenoord fans apparently have been banned from an upcoming matchup because they are they're acting out of turn. They are not they are not doing what they're supposed to and acting in a fan manner, and so they, meaning the fans from Feyenoord, they are not going to be able to see what else is going on. I think it's the matchup with Lille, and so of course, once again, trying to give you information in this current setup where the show is being done off of a hotspot. It's a bit of a banned from the. Okay, here we go. So, according to our friends at the Canadian Press, Feyenoord supporters banned. No, that's not what I hit. I did not hit that button. Feyenoord supporters have been banned by French authorities from traveling to Lille for next week's final Champions League group game between the two clubs. In an order published earlier today, France's Interior Ministry said there was, quote, a real and serious risk of confrontation between supporters of the two teams. Lille hosts Feyenoord on January 29th. French authorities said that Feyenoord's travels are often marred by, quote, public order disturbances due to the violent behavior of certain supporters or individuals claiming to be supporters of this team, end quote, and cited several examples of fan violence. Justifying its decision, the ministry added that 3,600 fans, 500 of whom ID'd as being dangerous, about 20%, had planned to travel to Lille, although only 2,600 seats had been allocated to Feyenoord. Quote, of the 1,000 supporters who have nevertheless planned to travel without a stadium admission ticket, it is feared that some will try to force their way into the stadium, end quote. Violent clashes in France between Marseille and Feyenoord fans outside the Stade Velodrome before the return leg of Europa Conference League semi in May of 22. One video showed a Marseille supporter apparently unconscious on the ground as he was helped by fellow fans. Another showed two groups charging at each other shortly before kickoff just outside the stadium. Around 400 Feyenoord hooligans were present around the city's seaport. And there were also clashes at the night before the game and after the match. Also violent clashes in Lille City Center when they played Levski Sofia in the Europa League in 2010. So, so that is, so Feyenoord and Lille fans are that is not going to be a mix. That is not going to be a good mix, and they're trying to cut it off right now as it's happening. All right, so here's your updates. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Jared is getting our Maddie updates before we leave you this morning here. Tomorrow, once again,
her, like, the
Thursday.
fact that, like, the times are very much lying. The TSA wait times are very incorrect, apparently.
Wow. So what's TSA saying?
TSA is saying like 35 minutes.
When at Maddie's at 3 hours. So that's not quite accurate.
Yeah, so it's saying the main checkpoint's 28 minutes. This is updated. It last updated at 4 p.m. Am I on a UTC time? That might be a problem.
So 4 right now, 11 o'clock. If it's 4 o'clock minus 5, so that'd be right now.
International is 20 minutes. South is 40 minutes. North is 40 minutes. Main is 28 minutes.
Maddie's on 3 hours. Yes. Jason said that it took him about 40 minutes to get through. All right. So here's your gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. And Jarrett's on Maddie Watch as we go here before we go out. Remember, tomorrow it is normal in hour number 1. And hour number 2 is our power hour with Nino and Nico. We go around the world in 30 minutes and go fully loaded with our buddy Nino Torres from Gold TV. Find out what's on Nico's mind with everything going on in Major League Soccer, with all of the transactions, including San Diego looking like they're going to grab Luca de la Torre. Actually, they did. So San Diego's grabbing Luca de la Torre. All the transactions, West Coast.
I don't know that Maddie has pre-check.
Oh,
I don't think she does. I don't know.
Oh, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know. I don't think she does.
Oh, I think we might have had this discussion during the playoffs last year where I was trying to encourage her to get it. I think that's where we are. Okay, gossip, rumor, and innuendo before we get out of here, and what to watch, where to watch it. Remember, it's day 2 of Champions League. Get you into the juice boxes before we get out. Nottingham Forest have made Wolves, Mateus Cunha, their top January target. 4-letter paper is saying this. A lot of folks are saying it, and it looks like it could be the largest offer that Nottingham Forest has ever made for a possible transfer. Arsenal have also shown interest. No bids for Cunha. Wolves hope that he will sign the long-term deal. The paper is ready to be signed. Cunha has not signed it. Once again, we talk about control of the asset. Al Hilal interested in Mo Salah if he leaves on a free this summer. PSG not targeting Mo Salah. Chelsea are set to hold more talks over Garnacho, valued at £50 million. It's from the Telegraph. United have made inquiries for Bournemouth on Milos Kerkesh. Right now, it looks like Kerkesh is staying home. Wolves, Ryan Aït-Nouri, Crystal Palace, Tyreek Mitchell, as Ruben Amorim is trying to prioritize a left wing back. We can talk and see if Amorim is looking at his old club Sporting. Once again, we'll talk to Nino about that tomorrow. West Ham keen to back new manager Graham Potter with new additions at center back and center forward before the deadline on the 3rd. Chelsea demanding at least $70 million, and this is all in pounds, before allowing Christopher Nkunku to join Bayern Munich. Antony, close to completing a loan move to Real Betis. Spurs and RB Leipzig, 2 main clubs trying to sign Southampton's midfielder Tyler Dibbling. Juve and Dortmund, both pushing to sign Chelsea's Renato Vega, available for either a loan or a permanent. Marseille, the latest club to express an interest in Marcus Rashford. That's from L'Equipe. However, the favored destination is Barcelona, who have freed up funds, which would allow them to sign the England international. I'd love to know how they did that. So what we'll do is we will click on the article from our friends at The Athletic and see what David Ornstein has said when it comes to Marcus Rashford. Because remember last time Barca did to free up funds a week ago is they sold suites to the new stadium that is being constructed. Well, the renovated Camp Nou, they sold suites. And they sold seats for like 30-year contracts. So that freed up some funds. So that is where Barcelona can't afford to sign him. Okay, so it is tied to the VIP seating at the redeveloped Camp Nou, satisfying the requirements of La Liga's 1-1 rule. Barca, in fact, wants to shift players out before bringing anybody else in. Dortmund remains keen as the issue of Rashford's wage, £325,000 a week, and how much that they cover is part of the issue involving Rashford and United, and his interested in Rashford and can afford the wages in a loan deal. 3-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. Fulham have inquired about AC Milan defender Emerson Royal, who will be available now that they've signed Kyle Walker. Manchester City have a verbal with Real Valladolid to sign center back Juma Ba, who is 18, Fabrizio Romano. France's Paul Pogba once again rejected an offer to return to football from a club in Russia. I'd love to know how wages are going to be squared away, because apparently there was also a move from Botafogo to a club in Russia. I think it was Zenit. And I'd love to know how Eagle Football Holdings is going to get paid for that one. Like I said, it's just me. I still think there are embargoes in place when it comes to dealing with Russian businesses, but we'll find that one out later. Derby have rejected a bid from Brighton for Iron Cashin at center back. Aston Villa's asking price for Lewis Berry, having a £10 million bid rejected. So that is the gossip of the.
I mean, we can give them £10 million right now.
Okay. Yeah.
If look, if EOL's agent wants to hold things up, waiting for those Premier League teams to come calling to Borough, we can hop on the road, hop on a train, because they actually have public transit over there. Must be nice, Must be nice to hop on a train or a bus and get where you need to go without having to rely on a damn car.
Yeah.
You hop on a train, go up to Glasgow, and get yourself a nice shiny striker. And we'll give you 10 million euro for him.
Yeah.
You want those 10 million euro, we'll give them to you. You want it that bad?
Yeah.
It's there for you.
Yeah.
All you got to do is answer the phone.
Yes. Pick it up, one ringy dingy. Pick it up. All the favorites yesterday in Champions League, I won except for one, which was a draw. We'll get into juice boxes coming up in a bit, and that's how we'll wrap up this morning. And we'll do Maddie Watch once again before we go. CBS Sports Network at 3 o'clock has Milan and Girona. Noon, the league that we neither condone, endorse, nor promote, has a Saudi Pro League. TNT has, remember, your friendly tonight, USA and Costa Rica. Piojo on the touchline for Costa Rica. Mandatory viewing.
It's going to kill someone.
7 o'clock.
Or get killed.
Yes, TNT. Fox Deportes simulcasting on the league that we neither condone, endorse, nor promote. 2 to NA at 12:25, Leipzig and Sporting. 2:50, Real Madrid and Salzburg. Universo simulcasting the friendly with USA and Costa Rica. Univision simulcasting what's going on 2 to NA. Golasso Network Championship, Plymouth Argyle and Burnley at 3 o'clock. Max is simulcasting the men's friendly with the U.S. Paramount Plus. 2 matches in the championship, Plymouth Argyle and Burnley. 15 minutes before that, Leeds United, Norwich City. That's at 2:45. Europa League started late first half. Now Besiktas and ATLUTD Club is going on in the Europa League. Champions League, everything's on Paramount Plus. Leipzig and Sporting, Shakhtar Donetsk and Brest are at 12:45. And if you have not seen it, please go back and watch the discussion that they had on Paramount Plus about the Brest club and how Micah Richards could not say word one. Arsenal, Dinamo Zagreb, Celtic and Young Boys. Feyenoord, Bayern Munich, Milan, Girona, PSG, Manchester City. That's your marquee matchup at 3. Real Madrid, Salzburg, Sparta Prague, and Inter all at 3 o'clock. Peacock also simulcasting the friendly. VIX has everything Europa League and Champions League. So Champions League juice boxes before we go. And once again, you're at match day 7. You've got one more match day, and then everybody figures out, okay, who advanced, who survived, and who is playing in the round of 24. And so as we get into today's matches, juice boxes for the most part probably are not a surprise. Sporting on the road, favored at Leipzig at a plus 112. Brest on the road, favored against Shakhtar at a plus 154. AC Milan minus 169 against Girona. Arsenal minus 1111. The Arkels would love that number. Against Dinamo Zagreb, north of plus 2,600. Your draw is basically plus 1,000. Celtic at a minus 370 at home against Young Boys, who are a plus 885. Feyenoord, a big underdog at home. Bayern Munich, a minus 263 on the road at Feyenoord, a plus 630. PSG, plus 145 in the composite, hosting Manchester City at a plus 166. Your draws a plus 273. Real Madrid and Salzburg. Real Madrid, minus 1429. Salzburg, if you've got some juice boxes, draws a plus 1244 in the composite. And Salzburg to win outright a plus 2650. Inter on the road, minus 278 at Sparta Prague, who is a plus 766. Your draw is a plus 400. Jared, anything else before we go? I think he's doing Maddie Watch.
No, I don't have an update.
No update? Okay. So that's where we are. Maddie's still in line. Keep an eye out for the broadcast tonight with Jason and Maddie at 7 o'clock. And, oh, brother. When will Maddie make it through?
I think she just got through.
She did? Maybe? What?
Oh, her bag got searched.
Oh! Oh, no. Oh.
If we never hear from her again, they took her to a dark room.
Oh, no.
I think she felt bad for me and just let me go through.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Okay, well, that's the perfect way to end the show. Bye, everyone.
Yes, absolutely true. So hang on, let me check and see what Alex is saying with the soccer goose on Blue Sky before we get out of here. It looks like Maddie may have survived it looks like may have survived. Oh my God, she might have made it. Charlotte has leaked their new kit apparently, and so that's what.
Alex is the potential leak for the San Jose Earthquakes kit, which looks really cool.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so that's out there. All right, so that is out there, and apparently, yes, yes. All right, so there we go. So it looks gorgeous, and save your money appropriately. So looks like Maddie's made it through. Now all they have to do is wait for a plane that may or may not exist to a flight to Central Florida for a broadcast tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that once again tomorrow. Open hour number 1, we'll go through all the news, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, get you ready for Thursday. Hour number 2 is the Power Hour with Nino and Nico. Holy crap, she made it. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. End of the show. Wow. So that means we get to do this. See you in a little less than 22. For Jared, I'm John. Mucha Plati. I'll play it safe. End of the show. Here we go.